Welcome into the campus of Northern Kentucky University and inside Regents Hall as the NKU Norse men's volleyball team plays Queens again. 2 nights, 2 games for the Norse against the Royals. A big win last night, their first MIVA win in program history. We're working on getting our camera feed up and running for you for right now. We're going to call it audio only. Matt Cosgrove on senior night, sending it away for the Norse to start. And right away, that's going to be a kill for Queens. Adam Blair, an early swing. That's sent back over, and it's going to land just wide. It'll be the North point. Will McKelvin now serving. It's 1-1 here in set 1. McKelvin came up big last night late in the 5-set winner. Here's a swing deflected at the net, down to get it, Wheatley, but it's going to go out of play. Queens leads 2-1. Again, technical difficulties here with our camera. Rylan Coleman serving for Queens. Sends it away, and it's an ace for Queens. Coleman dropped it right in front of the back row of the Norse. Another serve for Coleman. That one ticks off the net. Wheatley passes to Whitley. Now Diaz has a hit, and he scores. 19 kills last night for Diaz. One of 2 Norse with 19 kills. Wheatley had 19 as well.
Yeah, then Griffin Wheatley, J.D. Diaz, and Will McKelvin led the Norse last night in kills.
Block by Wheatley. Chance Champagne took the swing. Wheatley erased it. Back-to-back points for the Norse. It's 3 apiece. Another serve coming for J.D. Diaz. Podgerney down the middle. That's dug by McKelvin. Wheatley at the net denied. Back to Wheatley, and he's blocked. It's Reed Shuey with the block. 4-3.
Queens was kind of camped out on Griffin there. I think they expected the ball to go back to him for sure.
Chance Champagne on the serve. Whitley will set up McKelvin from the back row. Podgerney setting up a kill for Reed Shuey. Shuey hit 1,000 last night. 6 kills on 6 swings. He had his first one dug, but a kill there for Shuey. 5-3 Queens.
Queens doing a pretty good job of keeping NKU out of system right now. NKU needs a good pass.
Champagne, there's the good pass from Diaz. Blair will have a hit at it, and it'll go to the Norse. The Queens block not close enough to the net. Shoots right down. 5-4. Adam Blair now to serve. Blair hitting .370 on the year, among the best in the MIVA. Here he is serving. Top spins it, just misses the line. That's an error for Adam Blair.
Norse are going to need to control the service line tonight. That's been kind of their Achilles heel this season.
Here's a serve returning the favor with an error is Carson Strawbridge. It's worth noting we will not see Caden Sauer tonight. Took a serve to the back of the head last night. Exited the game, did not return. He's on the Queens bench. Not dressed for tonight. Overpass here on the serve from Whitley. Klausing to Whitley. Diaz from the back row will push it over with 2, but Norse were in the net. Point for Queens. Reed Shuey serving. Service error there from Reed Shuey. Likes to serve short, left that one right into the net. Griffin Wheatley serving for the Norse. Overpass. Peterson, duel at the net. Kept up. McKelvin a swing and went around the antenna. It'll be Queens Point, 8-6.
I know folks at home are wondering what's going on with the camera, Ben. We're going to try to get this fixed for you folks as soon as we can.
Charlie Podgurney serving for Queens. Pass from Wheatley to Whitley. Peterson down the middle, deflected at the net, and it'll be a kill for Peterson. Nick Whitley, 57 assists last night. That's what you get when playing 5 sets, but it's an impressive number. Brian Peterson will now serve for the Norse, trailing at 8-7 here in the first set. NKU versus Queens, last home match in the regular season for NKU. There's a swing and a kill for Casey Moss. Moss had 17 kills last night for Queens. Moss serves. Pass from Diaz to Whitley. Wheatley from the back row. Podgurney sets it up down the middle. Blair got a piece.
Nice up by Griffin Wheatley.
Wheatley the dig. Diaz has a swing. At the net, Whitley keeps it up. It'll be the Norse's points. Net violation.
No, it's not a net violation. So what they're calling there is the ball didn't cross the plane of the net. So Queens cannot contact the ball unless it crosses the middle point. Queens players asking for a challenge right now. Looks like Coach Peluso is talking to the ref about it.
It's not formally challenged.
Not yet. I think Coach Peluso is just trying to get some clarification here before he decides what he wants to do. And there goes the challenge. So if Queens wins this challenge, it should be a replay, not a point. If NKU wins, they will score and we'll move on.
Have our camera feed back up and running here. Unfortunately, our live stats are not. So no scoreboard for now. 9-8 Queens leading. In the middle of a challenge here. Queens has challenged.
Well, it's confirmed. NKU takes that point.
Norse looking to tie it up here. McKelvin into the nets. Norse were really good about that in the 5th set, especially last night. Winning the 5th 15-11, making very, very few mistakes.
Yeah, for the Norse to control this match tonight, they're going to have to control the errors. Saw a lot of unforced errors last night.
Rylan Coleman, Wheatley the pass to Whitley. Here's Diaz, got blocked. Clausen keeps it up. Whitley back to Diaz. Pushed up by Podgerney. Now a swing by Champagne. That is too long with no touch. Norse will take the point, and J.D. Diaz will serve. Diaz just short into the net. (11-9) Queens. Chance Champagne serves. Clausing to Whitley. Here's Blair.
Nice.
Big time swing and a kill for Adam Blair.
Was a good contact for Blair, pushing it deep and kind of catching that back row.
Blair just wide. Chicks off the net, Clausing the pass to Whitley. Peterson down the middle. Caught that one on the way down. Here's Moss, blocked. Kept up, they'll try Moss again, and he scores this time. Norse bench thinks it was wide, and Jen Palilonis does too. Here comes a challenge for the Norse.
From where I'm sitting, it looked like it kissed the line, but we're a little bit far from that side of the court, so.
Moss trying to go right down that line. (13-10) Queens, leading it here in set one for the moment. Looking at every angle they can here.
That ball was out.
And the North win the challenge.
Big challenge for NKU.
They go from down 3 to down 1 with service Nick Whitley.
Well done, NKU bench, for insisting that coach call that challenge.
Whitley sends it away. Podgerney, back row. Big swing chance, Champagne.
NKU block committed to the middle there, thinking it was going to be a quick shot to the middle, and they went to the back row instead, leaving a wide open net for the attacker.
Reed Shuey. Queens with the 2-point lead, 13-11. Shuey floats it short, Clausing. Whitley, here comes Wheatley with the swing and kill.
We need more of that out of Griffin Wheatley. He really dominated at the net last night, and I know they want to see Griff swinging away tonight.
Wheatley low serve. Podgerney over to Moss. Peterson.
Big block by NKU. Ben, we're seeing a similar start tonight. Both teams battling and going point for point.
6 blocks for Peterson last night, an emphatic one there. Clausing, Whitley. Here's McKelvin, and that's another Norse kill. 14-13, the Norse have taken 3 points in a row. Griffin Wheatley. Podgerney, tough set, back row left-handed. Wheatley now to Diaz at the net, pushes it off the hands and scores.
NKU trying to really get some momentum here. Let's see if they can keep it.
Timeout Queens. 15-13, the Norse have turned the tables here in set one. Back after this. Norse looking to keep it rolling out of the timeout. Griffin Wheatley, another serve on the way. Norse have taken 4 points in a row. 15-13, they lead here in set one. Podgerney, Moss pushes Whitley. Now McKelvin at the net.
Oh, yeah, that was a net violation.
And it took a full swing at it and hit the net.
Those are tough balls when that ball is coming across the court over his shoulder like that, tight to the net. It's really difficult to get a piece of it without also nicking the net. Norse won a quick side out here.
Podgerney serving. Diaz to Whitley. Here's McKelvin again. Put it in a good spot.
Yeah.
And scores. Britton Skousen did all he could do for Queens, but just nobody in the area.
Yeah, that was a really smart play by Will McKelvin.
(16-14), Ryan Peterson serves.
Nice serve.
Into the rafters and an ace. The rafters giveth and they taketh away. Give the Norse a point there. Hit off Champagne. Hit a beam shot straight down. 17-14, the Norse growing the lead. Another one from Peterson. Podgerney down the middle it goes for a kill. Ryan Coleman. Casey Moss. Out. Too far.
Entering the home stretch here. NKU is going to want to play side-out volleyball as long as they keep control of the ball.
Will McKelvin serves. Too long. 18-16.
Again, side-out volleyball here keeps the Norse in the lead. One good pass and a terminal kill is what they need to stay in control.
Jack Anderson in to serve from Glen Ellen, Illinois. Same hometown as Casey Moss. They graduated together. Adam Blair scores off the block.
That's what we need out of Adam Blair tonight.
J.D. Diaz serves. North still by 3. Podgerney to shoot. Blocked. No, nearly. Blair couldn't get it back over the net. He got up enough.
He was there. That was so close. Just got to push those hands over the net.
19-17. Chance Champagne.
Nice serve.
Good pass from Clousing. Blair again. Deflected at the net. Pushed up by Skusin. Good job by McKelvin to get down for it. Diaz sets up Whitley, gives the free ball. Big swing, and it's in just over the head of Trace Klausing.
That looked close to me.
Klausing ducked out of the way, but it still just barely landed in the court.
Yeah.
19-18. NKU leads. Queens looking to tie it. NKU looking for the side out. Klausing, Whitley, and Wheatley tips. Pushed up by Podgerney. McKelvin. Whitley, Blair has to adjust and still able to score. Wow, good job by Blair there.
That was a great job of NKU to stay in control and keep Queens scrambling on their side of the net. Queens is such a scrappy team. They are not going to give up on any ball. So NKU needs to really put the pressure on.
Devlin Biggs in to serve for NKU, and it's a service error.
Yeah, you hate to see that right now, Ben.
Another chance to tie here for Queens. Parsons Strawbridge to send it away. And that one's wide.
That was a bad toss. I think that toss might have even kind of tipped off the basketball rim back there.
So one of the many quirks of playing here in Regents Hall. Nick Whitley just domed his teammate. Wow. Not exactly a serving exhibition here the last few points.
Yeah, NKU is going to have to get in control of the service situation.
Here's Roger Fredrickson. Didn't see him at all last night. In here to serve. Freshman from Elkridge, Maryland. Sends it away. Klausing, overpass here, and they make you pay for it. Oh, they kept it up momentarily. But ultimately, Rylan Coleman had the big swing. And the point for Queens, they've tied it up at 21 here in set one. Timeout called by NKU and Jen Palilonis. So like last night, very tightly contested, but both teams going on mini runs. The Norse pulled away to get up by 3. Queens able to draw back even. And here we are in crunch time here in set one.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're seeing some unforced errors on the north side of the net. That's the kind of stuff late in the game that I know they need to clean up to stay in control.
Roger Fredrickson still serving for Queens out of the timeout. They've tied it at 21. Whitley to Wheatley, and he finds that back line. Griffin Wheatley with the kill that the Norse needed. 22-21, the Norse tip back in front. Wheatley. Podgerney, back row, Champagne, blocked by Diaz, tracking it down over on the bench. They have one hit left. It will get over. Free one, though. Klausing, Whitley, McKelvin tips and scores.
That's exactly what you want to see in that moment. In a free ball transition like that, the team receiving the free ball needs to terminate. You got to take advantage of that, and the Norse did just that.
Norse take 2 straight points out of their timeout. They're 2 points away from a set one win, 23-21. Queens calls timeout. We'll be back after this. NKU 2 points away. Here leading at 23-21 in the first set over Queens. Griffin Wheatley sends it away.
Good serve out of the timeout.
And quick serve and quick swing for Rylan Coleman for the kill. Queens back on serve with Charlie Podgurney. 23-22.
Norris looking for a quick side out here.
Klausing to Whitley. Here is McKelvin.
Oh my goodness.
Another huge swing for McKelvin right when the Norse needed it. Gets them to set point. 24-22. A couple chances here for NKU. Ryan Peterson serving for the set. Podgurney. Two-hand push. Whitley's there, but it's going to land wide on the other side. Second set point coming for NKU. It'll be on Queen's serve, Casey Moss. Moss sends it long. NKU takes the first set, 25-23. Queens had the momentum early on in the set. The Norse took it back towards the middle and were able to close it out. A big tone-setting first set win for the Norse as they look to beat Queens for the second straight night and jump them in the MIVA standings. They're technically above them right now, but solidifying it tonight.
Yeah, they need to win tonight to keep that edge on Queens. Queens has one win against Ohio State this season. Norse have one win against Queens last night. So the winner of tonight's match takes that number 8 spot in the MIVA.
25-23, NKU over Queens in set 1. Set 2 is coming up after this. The teams switch ends. It's time for set number 2. NKU leading in 1-0, taking the first 25-23. Queens will serve first. Their setter, Charlie Podgurney, redshirt junior from Niles, Illinois, gets us going.
Nice pass by Griffin Wheatley.
Here's McKelvin early, scores off the block. Ryan Peterson now serves for NKU. And Shuey got it blocked. The Norse can't keep it up. One. Carson Strawbridge. Redshirt sophomore, Virginia Beach, Virginia. Into the net it goes. Might have deflected off a teammate's head on the way there.
Again, I think that toss might have been just a little too high. He was struggling to track it over there between the beams and the lights.
Will McKelvin serving for NKU. That one's up there by the beams. Podgurney to Moss, the swing deflected at the net. Wheatley, Diaz has to go track it down. Back set towards the middle. Wheatley will have a swing and a kill for the setter, Nick Wheatley.
I would just like to point out what a great play that was. You had an out-of-system pass. Your outside hitter sets the setter, and the setter gets the kill. It's great composure on the part of the NKU Norse.
Whitley can really swing for a setter. Oh, my goodness, it's an ace for McKelvin. Oh, tickling the tape.
Ben, there's nothing worse than when that serve happens to you. There's nothing better than when you get one.
4-1. NKU early here in the second set. Another one coming from McKelvin. Oh, probably didn't try to do the same thing. Almost did. That one into the net. It all evens out. Here's Reed Shuey now serving for Queens. Floats it. Klausing pushes it up. Whitley has to set, and Blair with the duel at the net. Queens keeps it up. Blocked by Blair. Now Podgurney sets up Champagne for the kill for Queens.
Again, great play by Queens. They stayed in control of that in spite of the fact that the ball kept coming on their side of the court. So it's a good job of terminating on their part there.
Another one for Shuey. Diaz to Whitley. Here comes Wheatley from the back row.
Yeah,
4 hits on the North.
That ball was never over the net.
So 3 straight points for Queens after the Norse got off to a 4-1 start. Diaz, Whitley. Here's Blair, blocked initially, deflected off of Blair to get back over though. Moss swing, placed it perfectly. Casey Moss into the back corner.
Again, great defense by Queens. It was a lot of bang play right there, and they stayed in it, kept their eye on the ball.
Shuey again, 4 straight points for Queens. Here's McKelvin from the back row. Shuey hits a beam. They just got to push it over. Oh my goodness, the North somehow able to keep it alive, and then they're blocked. That's a tough point to lose. Rylan Coleman with the block to result in the Queens point. Goodness gracious, it looked like it was a free ball coming the Norse's way.
Yeah, last couple plays, Norse can't catch a break.
5 straight points for Queens. Whitley tracks it down. Back row, McKelvin blocked. And again, Rylan Coleman was there again for Queens. There's a timeout for Jen Palilonis. It's 6 straight points for Queens, and they lead it 7-4 here in set number 2.
NKU's struggling right now with ball control. We need better passes on the serve so that we can get in system and run a faster offense. Problem is, when you're struggling with ball control, you can't speed your offense up. And what is happening is Queens is able to kind of clamp down on the block because they're able to see what's happening a little bit too easily.
Norse look to stop the bleeding after this. Another serve coming for Reed Shuey for Queens out of the timeout. Whitley over to Diaz. Oh my goodness, blocked that time by Champagne. It is an onslaught right now from Queens.
Queens has all the momentum right now. They're doing a great job of just kind of staying in this match and pushing the offense. NKU's not responding very well to that pressure.
Shuey, another floater towards the back. Wheatley, Diaz will try it again. That one they got a piece of. Here comes Champagne at the net. Blair's there to meet him. And Queens in the net.
That's the break NKU needed.
Diaz sends it away. Podgerney back row. McKelvin, the dig. Now Wheatley. And Queens in the net again. Back-to-back points.
Something
8-7 is what the scoreboard reads for now. Big block. And it'll be the Norse point. Blair blocked it off of the hitter. The Norse have tied it at 8.
So I think we're getting,
Unless the scoreboard was wrong, which
yeah, I think we're getting a score check here.
because the Norse have taken 3 points. They had 4 coming out of the timeout.
Yeah.
And now the scoreboard has changed. 8-7.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
Podgerney, Moss. Oh, bad set. Or Moss mistimed the jump. Either way, another point for the Norse. They've tied it at 8.
And just like that, we're back to a tie game.
And a timeout, Queens.
You know, Ben, 20 years ago when we were young coaches and coaches' wife in this league, if we got a 2-3-point lead, that was enough comfort to kind of sit back and relax. Nowadays, these boys are scrappy. You know, every team that you play is out there picking balls up off the ground and playing really, really fast-paced ball. And even when we get 5 or 6 points lead, I don't get too comfortable anymore.
Yeah, can all vanish in a wink. Eight to 8 here in set 2. Back after this. Norse have drawn even at 8 here in set number 2. Another serve for JD Diaz. Podgerney down the middle to Rylan Coleman. Quick offense for Queens.
Yeah, you kind of had to expect that was going to happen. If the setter got a good pass, they were going to run the middle. Queens has been very effective with that fast offense, fast tempo through the middle.
Chance Champagne sends it too long. Adam Blair serving, takes off the net. Over for Moss. The Norse get a piece of it. Blair has it. Whitley sets up Wheatley, who scores off the block.
Yeah, that was absolutely excellent defense on behalf of the Norse. Adam Blair chasing that ball down. Perfect set, keeping it in play.
Here's Blair again.
Beautiful, beautiful serve there.
At the net, Whitley meets him there and wins the duel.
I count that as an ace. Even though technically Queens picked that ball up, that was a great serve.
11-9. And just too low that time for Blair. (11-10). NKU leads. Casey Moss serving. He sends that one long. Back-to-back serves for Queens. They give it right back to NKU. (12-10) NKU. A serve from Nick Whitley. Podgerney, Coleman down the middle. Wheatley on the swing. Champagne the dig on the back row. Here's Moss from the back row a hit. Whitley. Wheatley
Beautiful play.
And scores.
Yeah, really smart play out of Griffin Wheatley.
Whitley again. Oh, a little bit of a collision there on the push. Whitley a good dig. Here comes McKelvin. Deflected at the net. Podgerney pushes it up.
That ball's
and
out.
Diaz with the dig. It might have been going out.
Yes, that ball was out. But, you know, I think JD kind of caught himself back there and reflexes kicked in.
So 13-11 NKU. Rylan Coleman will serve.
Oh, there's a little talk up here. I think Nick wanted his coach to challenge. I'm not sure what in that moment, but he thought he saw something.
Coleman, pass from Wheatley to Whitley. Right back to Wheatley. Here's Strawbridge taking a swing. And no touch, and it landed wide. (14-11) NKU. Griffin Wheatley. Well placed. Down the middle it comes for Chance Champagne.
Chance just paused for a split second there, giving himself a little bit of room. The block came down before he contacted the ball. It was a great play.
Podgerney clousing the pass to Whitley. Back row, Wheatley up into the rafters it goes. They play it well. Strawbridge has to push it over. Whitley swoops in. Now Wheatley will set up Diaz. Podgerney, Strawbridge clousing a good dig. Diaz a set over to McKelvin. Strawbridge gives the free ball. Whitley. Here's McKelvin.
Nice play.
And Queens in the net.
Yeah,
one of the longer rallies we've had.
Another really smart play by Will McElvin. He saw the block was off the net, so he saw he had a little room to place the ball there between the blocker and the net.
15-12. Norse by 3. Ryan Peterson serves. Podgerney, Shuey down the middle. Whitley keeps it up. At the net, McKelvin pushes and scores. Excellent job.
Ryan Peterson with an assist. You don't see that very often. Big middle hitter back there in the corner.
Timeout called by Queens. The Norse continue to apply pressure. 16-12. They lead here in the middle of set 2.
Coach Peluso trying to slow down the momentum a little bit here. NKU has really kind of dominated with the momentum over the last, I don't know, 8 points or so. I think this timeout is all about slowing things down.
Queens led 7-4. Since then, NKU has taken 12 out of 17 points to take a 4-point lead.
Ryan Peterson.
Queens back on serve, 16-13. Carson Strawbridge serving for Queens. Into the net. They trade errors again.
I sort of feel like that was a huge break right there for the Norse. Trading missed serves. Still keeping that 4-point lead.
$17-13 now. Will McKelvin just a bit long.
3 missed serves in a row. Reed Shuey hoping to end that string of serving errors.
He'll keep it in with a floater. Whitley to Diaz, who pushes it. Good job to get down for it for Queens. Champagne, short push. Diaz keeps it up. Last hit left, free ball given by McKelvin. Podgerney to Moss again. We see that happen with Casey Moss.
Yeah, the setter's really kind of pushing it out too far. There's been a couple of those missed connections. It's a real frustrating situation for Queens, I think.
18-14, JD Diaz. Podgerney, Moss again. This time gets off a decent hit.
Tight.
At the net. Norse get it back over, lands in. How about that?
Again, great reflexes by Adam Blair. That's a free ball kill, folks.
Norse continue to pull away. 19-14. Line judge coming over here. Looks like just a wet spot. Diaz.
Great pass.
Champagne scores off the block for Queens.
Norse defense caught on their heels there.
19-15. NKU up a set, 25-23. Looking to make it 2 here, leading at 19-15. Chance Champagne sends it away. Wheatley, the pass to Whitley, right back to Griffin. Tipped at the net. Champagne pushes it up. Here comes Moss. Klausing a dig.
Great pass by Trace Klausing.
Diaz to Wheatley at the net. Another one coming. Sets it up for Blair, and he's denied at the net. Rylan Coleman polishes it off for Queens. A lot going on there at the net.
Yeah, that was a great read by Queens. They stuck with the ball and tracked it right to Adam Blair. Norse need a side out here. They do not want to lose this lead.
Champagne gives it to him on the long serve. Matt Cosgrove. Serves good, low serve. Here comes Moss again.
Nice.
Cosgrove a dig, but before that,
Ooh.
NKU in the net.
Yeah, you hate to see that. Matt Cosgrove had a great serve and a great dig there.
20-17, Casey Moss. Wheatley, Doug trying to track it down. They do. Into the middle, they give the free ball. Here's Whitley. Diaz from the back row scores.
That was excellent. Excellent, excellent offense by the Norse.
Whitley serves into the net. 21-18.
In the final stretch here, NKU has a 3-point lead, but they cannot get too comfortable.
Rylan Coleman. Whitley. Here's Griffin Wheatley. Good dig. At the net it comes. Wheatley tries to push it over. Shuey pushed it back. Here comes McKelvin. Tries to tip, and it lands.
You see what I mean there, though, about Queens and their scrappy play. That was an excellent, excellent defensive play to keep the ball in play there. Norris just coming out on top with some crafty attacks at the net.
They inch ever closer, 22-18 now. Griffin Wheatley. Podgerney pushes it over himself. Whitley's there, though. Diaz will set it up for McKelvin, who pushes it. Another set back row here. Moss scores. Nick Whitley looking for a bit of an explanation on that last point.
Both Nick Whitley and Will McElvin are frustrated with that call. Nick Whitley looking for an explanation from the ref. Coach Palilonis has 4 fingers up. I don't know if he's thinking it was a poor contact on the side of Queens. You don't see much of this very often. I'm a little lost here on what the argument is.
It's not often you see a player talking to a ref for this long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very back and forth, obviously civil, but it's taken a long time.
Yep, well, up ref saying enough of this conversation. Let's move on.
It's a kill for Casey Moss and Caleb Williams in to serve for the Royals. Sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina. Saw him a little bit last night. First time seeing him tonight. Whitley over to Diaz and placed perfectly again. It's 23-19. North's 2 points away. And into the match. Devlin Biggs to serve, freshman from Chicago. Trying to get the Norse to set point. Here's Shuey. Oh, pancake, no.
Oh, net violation.
Yeah, I do think Whitley got under it, but Norse in the net.
Yeah, he did.
23-20. Carson Strawberry serving for Queens. Strawbridge into the net. Gifts the North set point here, 24-20.
Norse fans on their feet, excited to see NKU in this situation, this opportunity to take the second set.
Will McKelvin with the Norse up 24-20. Podgerney, here's Moss, blocked. Podgerney again, he'll try Champagne this time, and it's in. Chance Champagne with the kill right down the line. 24-21. Here comes Reed Shuey. He was serving for Queens when they took 7 points in a row earlier in the set. Norse have overcome that, trying to end it right here. Here's J.D. Diaz. It lands wide. Scoring off the block is Diaz, and a 2-0 lead for the Norse. They lead 25-23, 25-21, and will look to complete the sweep in set 3. Set 3 on the way after this. Start of set 3, NKU up 2-0, winning the first 25-23 and the second 25-21, looking for a clean sweep of the Queens Royals. It starts with Ryan Peterson sending it away to begin set 3. Ryan away, quick offense, and it's out. They set Rylan Coleman, and he misfires.
Yeah, he just dripped it a little bit too close to his right. Couldn't quite get his shoulders turned to keep that ball in line.
Here's Peterson again. Down the middle it comes, and that time, making no mistake, is Coleman. Scoring with a slight deflection, 1-1.
Yeah, for our middle to be effective against that fast tempo, they need to be getting up sooner and faster. So they need to commit to the middle sooner and faster.
Klausing to Whitley. Here's Will McKelvin, a tip. They keep it up. McKelvin has to recycle the point. Diaz. Oh, wow. Excellent job. They have one hit left. They get it over.
There's that scrappy Queens defense keeping the ball in play.
Diaz, they saved the ball that was probably going out. Did Champagne. Moss at the net. McKelvin pushes it up. Diaz will set McKelvin again. He tries a two-hand push, and he got blocked.
That was a tough out-of-system play there. JD was trying to get the ball pushed out to his right arm, and he just couldn't quite get in position to swing at that ball.
Rylan Coleman. So Wheatley to Whitley. Here's Blair hanging in the air, dug by Champagne. Casey Moss. Oh, Wheatley to the deck to keep it alive. McKelvin scores off the block.
Adam Blair just back after being out with injury for a couple of weeks. I think he and Nick Whitley are still working on getting that connection in the middle.
McKelvin serves. Oh, they got to track this one down. Dell into the stands. They give the free ball. Klausing. Whitley. Here comes Wheatley from the back row. Podgerney. Here's Dell blocked by Diaz. Moss now off the block scores.
You have to give Queens all the credit in that rally. They never stopped attacking the ball. Out of system every play, and every play they got a good swing on it.
And here's Connor Dell. First time seeing him tonight. Saw him a lot in the later stages of last night's match. Wheatley to Whitley. Blair down the middle, and it's in. Able to pick out that back line is Adam Blair for the kill. 3-3. J.D. Diaz. Podgerney back row pushed. McKelvin able to get there. Whitley pushes it up. Duel. Wheatley gets it over, and the point belongs to the Norse.
Again, so much credit to this Queens team. Dell really did a great job of chasing that ball down. He just couldn't get it high enough in the air for one of his teammates to grab it.
Norse 4-3 in the lead. Another serve for J.D. Diaz. Oh, a block from Adam Blair. Reed Shuey went for the swing down the middle, and Blair erased it.
That block was filthy. Great, great play.
Diaz again. Champagne, Podgerney. Moss. Norse can't keep it up. Cool. 5-4. Casey Moss serving. Klausing. Whitley on two. Takes the swing and drills it for the kill.
Nick Whitley loves the opportunity to call his own number, and man, he is incredibly effective when he does.
Able to generate so much whippage.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes.
Touchdown.
Well, I mean, if you're going to hit an air, you might as well, go all out, right? That one almost broke the back wall of Regents Hall. 6-5, NKU leads. Shuey serves. Whitley, here's Wheatley going for the tip, and he scores.
I've just been so impressed with Griffin Wheatley's play this weekend. You're seeing not just a lot of power out of that arm, but you're also seeing some really crafty, smart shots. And now another bad toss and kind of launched it high.
Seven 6, NKU in front. Charlie Podgerney serving for Queens. Oh, it hit off Griffin Wheatley's chest.
Yeah.
And it's an ace for Podgerney. Queens has tied it at 7.
I think there was a little bit of indecision there by Griffin Wheatley. That ball looked like it was about to catch some air, but Griff couldn't get himself out of the way.
Podgerney clousing the pass to Whitley. Here's Wheatley trying to make up for it. Finds its way to Dell. Now back to Dell for the swing. Oh, hits off ahead. I think it was McKelvin. Shoots way up into the rafters. Diaz will give the free ball. Podgerney. Champagne. Diaz tracks it down. Whitley sets up McKelvin.
Excellent.
Wow, what a job. McKelvin finishes it off. Whitley able to deliver a beautiful set.
That was great offense at the net, but let's not forget JD Diaz chased that ball down to keep it in play. That was great defense.
8-7, Whitley again. Tips it off the net. At the net. And I think Queens
violation
touched the net. Yes.
Oh, no. It was back row attack. So back row cannot jump and contact the ball in front of that 10-foot line.
All set up by another one of those lucky serves tipping off the net. Podgerney. Oh, terrible set.
Yeah, they're going to call a lift there.
10-7 and a timeout for Queens. All going the Norse's way over the last 5 points or so. Up by 3. Good start here to set 3. Trying to end this match as quickly as possible. Back after this. NKU leads 10-7 here in the third set. They lead 2-0. Trying to discard of Queens here on a Friday night. Wheatley sends it away. Big swing from Champagne, but able to dig it is Wheatley. McKelvin tracks it in the air and scores. Queens just not able to get enough of it on the block.
Again, really smart play by Griffin Wheatley. He had kind of a bad toss on that serve, so he made the adjustment to keep the ball in play.
Wheatley, big serve and an ace. He put every ounce of power into that one.
Griffin Wheatley is having a weekend.
19 kills here last night. An ace there. 5-point lead for NKU. Another serve. Podgerney, Connor Dell. And Wheatley nearly got under it. But Norse in the net. I feel like we're seeing more net violations tonight than usual.
I think that might have been an under, like a crossing the center line violation. The ref was pointing to the floor, so typically that means somebody stepped over the line.
Chance Champagne serving for Queens. Big serve. Klausing, though, the pass hits a beam up there. McKelvin has
Great
to
recovery.
salvage the point. Here comes Casey Moss off the block. He scores. Chance Champagne. Into the net it goes. Ryan Peterson sends it away for NKU, leading it by 4. Podgerney down the middle it goes for a kill for Ryland Coleman.
Yeah, again, that's that quick ball in the middle. Very, very difficult to defend against. Adam Blair just couldn't get that block up fast enough.
Wheatley the pass over to Diaz.
Tight
Sets
set.
McKelvin.
That was a great job of Will McKelvin trying to do something there, but
Ooh, and Moss able to track that ball,
yeah.
get off a good swing and score again.
Queen's doing a good job of keeping NKU out of system right now. That first pass dictates the whole tone of the play.
North see their lead dwindle down to 2. Oh, Klausing. The pass to Whitley. Here's Diaz. It hit the net and landed out. Was there a touch, though, is the question. If there was, we'll never know. 13-12. Ryland Coleman trying to tie this one up for Queens. Klausing, Whitley, Blair hangs and scores emphatically.
That's the connection that those two are looking for. Beautiful pass, great set, and an excellent terminal kill.
$14-12 NKU. Will McKelvin. Podgerney, Moss, Klausing the dig. Diaz, McKelvin from the back row. Champagne, Podgerney, Moss, tips, McKelvin down to get it.
Great defense by Will McKelvin.
Back to the Queen's side. Ooh, tight here for Moss. Klausing handles. Whitley and Blair. That's in. The Norths take another.
Great offensive play there, but I just want to say that's all Will McKelvin out there playing good defense.
McKelvin, redshirt sophomore, Windermere, Florida, Orlando area. 15-12, sends this one away. Here's Connor Dell with the swing. Klausing there again. Diaz, McKelvin back row.
Nice touch.
Did he send it into the net? No, they say. Play on. Diaz at the net. Pushes it over and scores. Wow, Norse didn't give up on that play despite Queens calling for 4 hits in the middle of the point. They will challenge.
Yeah, they're going to challenge this here. They don't think there was a touch. From where I sit, I believe there was. But their players are pretty adamant that there wasn't. And so you just don't know in that situation. Most of the time when the players are that adamant that they didn't touch it, you would assume they didn't touch it.
But also worth the challenge if you're Queens. As it stands, you're down by 4 on the verge of losing.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's a good challenge in this moment. Of course, for the challenge or for the play call to be overturned, there needs to be conclusive evidence.
And quickly confirmed. There was a touch on the Queens side. No 4 touches on NKU. The play will stand, and NKU will retain their 4-point lead.
Yeah, that ball popped up and did hit the hands of the Queens player, I believe. And they're still arguing.
McKelvin. Podgerney, and a big emphatic kill from Casey Moss.
Yeah, NKU block right there was kind of uncertain who to commit to. I think they thought it might come over on a tip from the setter.
16-13, Connor Dell back there for Queens. Ticks off the net. Klausing able to push it up. McKelvin. Now Diaz will give a free ball. Push it towards the back corner. Podgurney, Shuey down the middle. Got a touch at the net. Whitley, here comes Wheatley from the back row. And another kill for Griffin Wheatley. The Norse on the verge here. 17-13. J.D. Diaz. Podgurney, Shuey quickly with the kill. Here's Casey Moss, Klausing again. Whitley over to McKelvin, another score off the block for Griffin Wheatley. Norse back on serve, 18-14, and Matt Cosgrove into serve. Cosgrove. Here's Podgurney, back row, Moss again. Casey Moss. It's been relatively quiet up till this point, but a couple big points there for Queens trying to stay alive in this match. 18-15. Reed Shuey back there to serve for the Royals. Short one handled by Diaz. Whitley over to Wheatley. And Champagne, the kill for Queens.
That 4-point lead cut in half. NKU looking for a side out here to stay in control.
Oh, Shuey left that one way too short. You see Shuey, he's got that club on his right hand. It seems like either his last two or last three fingers are wrapped up.
Yeah, they're wrapped pretty strong there.
Can't really hit any other serves, I guess. Whitley serving for NKU, up 19-16 now. Podgurney sets the back row, and a kill for Moss.
Again, that block is there. They're just pulling arms back a little bit, letting that ball get trapped between the body and the net.
Charlie Podgurney. Diaz. Whitley. Here's Griffin Wheatley. Taps. Pushed up by Dell, hitting a bunch of beams up there. Here's Champagne, a swing blocked by McKelvin it was.
Yeah.
And another point for NKU. They're at 20, 2017. Griffin Wheatley. Dell, Podgurney, back to Dell. Left-handed pushes it and scores as lands right in front of Wheatley.
Griff caught on his heels there a little bit. Oh, coach is looking for a challenge. Maybe, maybe not. Yep, he's going to take the challenge.
Do they think Dell landed over the line?
I think they think there was a center line violation. Again, you remember a few plays ago, we got called for stepping under the net. Somebody saw something. I didn't catch it, but I think they're challenging that one of the Queens players stepped over that center line in the middle of the play. Of course, not only is that, a violation, but it's also kind of dangerous. You hate to see feet going under the net.
for a play like this, it makes you wonder what camera they'd be using. Because you have the line cameras, but you can't really see the center line all that well.
They might be able to see it with one of the wider cameras. Oh boy. NKU wins that challenge. That's a huge point here late in set 3.
It's a great catch, too.
That really is.
Even knowing to challenge there.
Yeah, this is a great challenge.
Makes it a 4-point lead as opposed to only a 2-point lead. And the Norse now just 4 points away, 21-17. Griffin Wheatley. Charlie Podgurney sets up a kill for Rylan Coleman again. He's been great down the middle today. Chance Champagne.
Great pass.
Whitley. Here comes McKelvin for the kill. (22-18). Here comes Kyle Sauer. Didn't see him last night. His brother Caden, of course. Player at Queens, not dressed tonight, but Sauer sends it away here.
Great serve.
Podgurney, Moss, Blair gives the free ball and then blocks the return. Moss blocked again. Adam Blair is all over the place.
Look at that NKU bench. They are fired up. And a great serve by Kyle Sauer to get that play started.
Timeout called by Queens. The Norse 2 points away from sweeping away the Queens Royals. We'll be back after this. It's the last match here at home for NKU in the regular season. They have 4 tough ones on the road to finish it out. Ball State, Ohio State, Lindenwood, McKendree. Now, their first ever set win in conference play was against McKendree here a couple weeks ago. That'll be their regular season finale. Here's Sauer to send away. Dell with the kill off the forearms of Wheatley. Norse on the verge of beating Queens twice in 2 days. Queens' only conference win is Ohio State. NKU will see them here soon.
Week from tomorrow.
Klausing, McKelvin, a tip. Podgurney sets Dell again, and he scores again. Connor Dell makes it 23-20.
Torn Stewart coming in as a serving sub for Rylan Coleman.
Whitley. McElvin. He sets up match point for NKU. 24-20. NKU looking for their second conference win in as many nights. They have a few chances here. First match point with service from Will McKelvin on the way. Podgurney to Dell and Connor Dell.
Yeah,
Another kill.
that was an excellent swing.
Match point number 2 now for NKU. It'll come on the serve from Connor Dell. Another Chicago native, the junior, will send it away for Queens. NKU with eyes on a sweep. Dell to Klausing. Whitley, here's Blair, and that's it. NKU sweeps away Queens 25-23, 25-21, and 25-21. An emphatic and important 3-set win here tonight.
This is a huge win for the Norse. This puts them ahead of Queens in the MIVA standings. If they can stay there, Ben, they assure themselves a spot in the MIVA championship tournament.
We mentioned the last 4 games for NKU all coming on the road, but they'll also have to be watching what Queens does here down the stretch. Only 2 games left for Queens in the MIVA. They have 2 games, back-to-back nights next weekend against Purdue Fort Wayne at home in Charlotte. The Norse will be keeping very close tabs on those 2 matches while also preparing for their last 4 the rest of the season. Well, no more games here at Regents Hall for NKU, which means no more coverage from us.
I know, I can't believe it. The season went too fast.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here tonight, here throughout the season. The Norse end off their home schedule right. 2 wins in 2 nights to climb up those MIVA standings. And for now, have them in the MIVA tournament.
Much love to all of the Norse families watching from home tonight. We miss having you here in Regents Hall, but I know you're at home screaming and yelling and cheering on your boys.
That'll do it for our coverage here tonight. For my partner, Jen Palilonis, I am Ben Burdette. NKU gets it done. Signing off from Highland Heights. Thank you so much for watching.